Yeah, I want to talk about this censorship and what goes on. Like the synthetic nature of the world that we have. We have deceivers that are in places of power, but they're in alignment with the nether realm. There are entities in the nether realm. If you look at the Canaanites are really in alignment with Cain, who was in the land of Nod. That's it's kind of like if there's a background physicality that our senses don't detect, but is actually as real and primordial as the apparent world we live in. That's partly how things operate. And you look at the mysticism of the status quo. They are always deferring to going along to get along. The worldliness is holiness, and indefinite mysticism. That means like, oh, we just don't know, but we follow our heart. We're in tune with life, and that's a state of mindless adhesion to like an animal nature. And consciousness is really the enemy. That's why they fluoridate the water. That's why they give us these horrible indoctrination centers. Call them schools or education centers. It's just indoctrination. Literally, like in 2010, the stance that the deans in the college I was going to, the stance that they took was very violent and apprehensive. They said they want to raise taxes on people, and they don't want those people to know where their money's going. That's the position of the deans in the college. Because I recorded the conversation. I was like, so how do you think the taxpayers would feel about your proposition for the future? Oh, they wouldn't like that at all. But you want to continue to raise taxes at their expense. Okay, that's great. And then I asked them what they thought the commercial interests would have, and they just laughed at each other because to them the commercial interests were just to enslave and exploit the people. Like that would be the only commercial interest that they were going to be working with. There would be no more human rational interest. It would be just this absolution of even the concept. I was talking just today with two quantum non-scientists, and one guy, his name is Mossad something or other, Mossad Aziz. He's probably a Mossad agent. These people are so narcissistic and proud of themselves. When you see someone who's like FBI or CIA, they think that they're so much better than everybody else. They really do. So and they have such little personal dynamics that they all kind of look the same, they act the same, they behave the same. Even their genetics are the same, because mostly you're dealing with people who are inbred. And that's not an exaggeration, particularly when you're dealing with the consolidation of power and what they're actually aligned with. They're aligned with this primordial Canaanite positioning. And even when you're reading your Bible, when it talks about Canaanites, it's really talking about Nephilim relations. And when you talk about the Canaanites, and you're going to be talking about the Nephilim. You'll see that in the Bible. It's talking about Edomites. What's up with the Edomites? That's Esau's line. And what were they doing? They were in commune with the fallen angels. They were Nephilim. That's what it said. What did Jesus say about the Sanhedrin? He said they were Nephilim. He said they were Edomites. They were not actual people of Abraham's line. He said they were the devil's children. And that's what we're dealing with in our modern world. And it's the censorship that really is like insufferable in my perspective. But like today, this guy, they up thumb my comments, and then I go check on the comments. They don't have an up thumb next to them. It just means that some censor is going through my dialogue, and he's just like, they delete most of what I say, and they've been shadow banning too. Again, I dispelled shadow banning by making it a public, awareness towards it. They started shadow banning in like about 2000, 2001. People don't realize that. And if you brought up the idea of shadow banning, people didn't even think censorship was going on. They go, no, we live in America. There's no such thing as censorship. And I was like, well, that's profoundly ignorant to feel that way. It's like they're kind of like insinuating that I'm some kind of fool or I'm some kind of liar. And the naive idea that, since it's America, they can't be censoring. It's just not possible. And that just shows you, and that was like pretty much the reaction of everybody, close friends or anybody else. It just shows that the animal nature of the common people, they're not rational, they're kind of intuitive. And things that are obviously stupid, they feel as hard rock, bedrock truth. But so the fact of the matter is, like, this Mossad guy probably one of those guys who's like, went through my comments today because he puts up thumbs, and I look, and there's no actual up thumbs on the comments. But this has been going on for months, and the fact that their dialogue is so slanderous and it's projection. So if you become mindlessly adhered to the system, that's to them divinity. That's humility. That's authenticity. And what I was pointing out, I go, well, you become definitively, in our historic record, an enemy to humanity. These people don't even have a definition for really any words, but humanity, they have no definition for it. It's rationality, they have no definition for it. And this is fundamental to their error. You don't have a definition for humanity, you don't have a definition for rationality. How are you going to define anything at this point? And they don't. They're just a mindless adhesion to, and it's really easy to recognize when you see people who are non-comprehensive in their understandings. You can fool them into beliefs that aren't true. And then when you see that you can't reason with them, that's a state of animalness. That's an irrational state that we see examples of, because what they're doing in the colleges, they're indoctrinating people into an emotional state. They got emotional intelligence. They have loyalty to powers and principles, but they're not going to be rational. Really, rationality is something that they find abhorrent.